One day my boss told me like, stop everything, stop everything. Then I was like, what's up? Then she was like, okay, come with me. You need to understand why we do what we do. She brought me to this beach cleanup, but the organizers actually didn't want to call it a cleanup. It was a beach audit. There was a huge study being conducted. They needed to survey the marine litter, and an hour after we cleaned the beach, it was dirty again. And you could see the plastic rolling with the waves. And what was crazy was that people were fishing there. The idea of just even how you fish, just putting a string and then suddenly getting a fish, it's just kind of like magic. But now, what if the environment was filled with plastic? Like, how could we even get food? That's when it hit me how big this problem of packaging waste was. Ultimately, I came here with a huge mission, which was to figure out a solution to this packaging waste problem. I'm Joseph. I'm co-founder of Zerotag.
My name is Shimroth John Thomas, and I am the co-founder of zerotag. We are in the business of designing technology for sustainability, and we are trying to make refill shopping mainstream.
My background's more in engineering and design. When I was in high school, I was a painter. So, yeah.
That is a question which it's always changing. As in, I have a very multidisciplinary background. So, worked as an architect for a while, then mainly worked as a photographer as well, and photographer and a filmmaker. Moved on to design and everything in the design field as well, from branding to UI, user interaction design, things like that. After doing my master's, it's been more of looking at new biomaterials, and now, yeah, zerotag's a culmination of all of those sort of learnings.
Weirdly, I didn't want to study art because I felt that I wanted to see more of the world. If I went into art, I would have learned more about how to create stuff, but then I wanted to see the world more and maybe even change the world.
When I was studying architecture and working as an architect as well, I found that a lot of the existing construction materials in the market were highly unsustainable.
While in uni, I started creating this affinity with the homewares industry in the Philippines. Part of that was, I got matched with a homewares company somewhere in a different island of the Philippines that focused on sustainable materials. And that's actually where my journey into sustainability started.
Okay, hello and welcome to Manapla. You are currently at Hacienda Crafts. I am currently at Hacienda Crafts.
There's just something about sharing coast and realizing how connected everyone is. So even, for example, like at that beach audit, beach cleanup, some of the packaging we found there had like foreign languages on it. And it made me wonder, like, how far did this plastic, drift? And then realizing how everyone is connected by water. Just think of packaging. Packaging is such a complicated thing where it's like, it's functional until you're finished with the food. So there's that, just like realizing this is a huge problem, and I'm in this unique position to do something about it by having that background in materials, that background in industrial design, and even the whole art thing. Like, maybe I can do something about it. So I needed to learn more about technology. So technology was one of my weaknesses, I think, like something I knew nothing about and that the Philippines was not ready to teach me. So that's why I came to Melbourne. I took my Master's of Design, Innovation, Technology at RMIT. I had this class, and this is where I met Shimroth, all about, sustainability, biodesign, and then we're looking at biopolymers and all that. Basically, we came up with this project that involved this reusable packaging for wine. And then I started going to places outside of the classroom. And that's also what started our entrepreneurial journey.
We wanted to try to tackle packaging waste. And looking at the Australian context, we found that a huge waste generator in Victoria was actually the wine industry. We initially wanted to go down that path of creating a new material, but we realized that's going to be really expensive. That's when we realized, maybe we can focus on the reuse angle and try to use that label system that we thought of to scale it across the food manufacturing sector and create a software which can help tackle this issue. Our journey started with wine, where we created the reusable bioplastic packaging made from wine waste. And that's where we actually learned about the importance of labels and digital labels. We realized that that concept could be carried forward into other food products.
We tried different ways to validate. I'd do things like have a house party or even like my birthday and then have people over, and then little do they know is that I might have, let's say, wine that was actually from a refillable wine place, and seeing how people reacted. For example, when it came to, let's say, there's this one day I brought this huge bottle of beer. At the end of the night, nobody touched it. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And then, so I asked like the people who are still around, hey guys, like, you have like a huge bottle of Moondog beer here? And they're like, oh, Moondog beer, I love Moondog beer. Yeah, there's like a whole bottle of ice bucket. And then they're like, oh, that thing, like, to be honest, it looks sus. That's when I realized how, something like branding, which is usually like a huge function of these artworks, was also important in driving consumer confidence.
Something that was missing in the shopping experience was the actual artwork as well as the stories of the wine and why people would spend $30 on a bottle which has no name or no label. So we wanted, with our solution in zerotag, we could communicate that information in a really visual manner. With milk, it was more about expiry dates. So after speaking to a lot of people and customer like millennials and millennial parents, we realized that a big common problem that they all faced was they would forget the milk and it would go spoiled. And something that we thought could really help them was sending them notifications and reminders to help them avoid this problem.
And they're like, oh yeah, these are the ones that have the most problem. It's like, okay. So, we just wanted to solve a problem.
So, yeah, like store owners that, have like bulk food stores, cafe owners that are promoting sustainable products, and other refill sort of dispensaries. They've been the businesses we've been talking to.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
How are you? Sure again.
Yeah, you too. It's been a while. I'm Luke Phillips. We're here at Into Coffee / Into Carry. We're a zero waste cafe and an upcycling design studio. We've recently got zerotag on board at Into Coffee, which we're really excited about. Being zero waste, we have takeaway milk, takeaway coffee beans, obviously takeaway coffee. So having a better, more transparent and reliable system around that is really exciting. Zerotag's providing that for us. Trying to reduce friction points and make reusable containers a enjoyable experience. And the big barrier for that is challenging convenience culture. And they're doing a really amazing job at really reducing those friction points and making it a really pleasurable experience, start to end. We opened up partly because we recognise that there's an amazing community around the local area that are working to solve these sustainability problems. And we wanted to build a hub to bring those people together, but also use that hub as a bit of a laboratory to trial out.
Single-use plastics like straws, plates, cutlery and cotton bud sticks will be banned from retail in Victoria from February the 1st.
Single-use plastics make up about a third of our waste.
But most kinds of disposable drink cups and lids are exempt. Disposable cups and lids have plastic elements to make them waterproof. That's why more than 1 billion still end up in landfill nationally each year.
So let's say, look, this is a paper cup. As you can see, it actually has a plastic lining on it. Well, how do you think that paper was supposed to be holding liquids anyway? And then you think of your coffee cup, moisture, it's like it's hot and also has liquids. That's like the perfect recipe to start biodegradation. How do you think it would work to begin with? Like, I think that we're actually so far from creating that ideal sustainable packaging that will solve all the problems. And for us, like, reuse is the one that makes the most sense from a sustainability perspective. My background's in materials engineering, and something that I'm quite frustrated about is how, even in engineering, how sustainability is talked about. I had to learn that sustainability it's not a material property. It's contextual, it's about systems. Let's say, we have compostable plastic, right? And then there was a way that they defined compostable, and then okay, check mark. And then so if it checks this box, then must be sustainable. And then turns out that, the system for it to compost was actually highly unlikely to ever happen. In reality, it still produced microplastics that still harmed the environment. But if you're in marketing, right, and then this is what the engineers are saying, then it's okay, then I'll just promote this as a green material. And now you have so much pessimism of greenwashing. So we're hoping to simplify that by saying, how about you just reuse and we'll take care of the rest. Whether zerotag will play out financially, that's something we'd have to see. Right now, I've designed it so that it will, and also designed it so that its sustainable impact will scale as well. If we can do that, right, I'm just then definitely be super worth it.
Over the last few decades, single-use plastics have become the norm, and it's just more convenient. And that's just made life easier for everyone. But at the same time, if you want to change those habits, you need to create a new system which can make life easier for everyone. And to do that, you need to be able to, as a designer, look at things from different perspectives. It's not just about creating a product. It's about understanding what each stakeholder sort of wants. I
understand why actually this problem is so hard. What I don't agree with is going complete activist mode and saying, this problem of waste is because of people don't care enough. Seeing the other side of things as well. You can have people that care, but just nobody has a solution. And sometimes someone has to come up with a good enough solution. And that's where I feel like my whole responsibility is. Because I mentioned, my background is so unique. And I feel like this is that unique perspective I can give to the world. There's just something about creating also that can just shut people up about problems and just say, look, this is possible.